The scout likes if the scout likes a player and a scout's willing to vouch for the player, that makes a player's stock rise. So what happens is after we sign them, okay, what we do is we go and we promote the player to every NFL team. So basically what we have is I have a list of 32 teams, and I go and I make sure that every 32 team knows about my player. And the process is kind of like farming. Okay, you have to plant the seed in the ground for all 32 teams. Hopefully, if the kid's good, 20, 25 teams already know about him. If not, my goal is to make sure that those other teams that don't know about him find out about him. That's what my job is. And the ones that already know about him, I have to find out what they like about him, what they don't like about him, and I have to show them through film or through a pro day or through the combine that their weakness is not a weakness, it's been fixed, or it's an actual strength. So the process after you sign a player is promoting them to all 32 teams to make sure all 32 teams know about them, like them, and hopefully are fighting over them. From that process, the training goes on. So what happens is we send the guys after they have their all-star games, where they go to East-West game, where they go to the Shrine game, where they go to the NFLPA game, where they go to a Hula Bowl, or whether they go to whatever all-star game they go to. Our job is to make sure that everyone sees them and knows about them. After that, they go to the combine. If they get invited to the combine, we go, and combine is a big event in Indianapolis where everyone goes and promotes all their players, and their players perform. If they don't perform, chances are they're either hurt or they didn't get invited, and they have something which is called a pro day. So the whole time from January to I just got off the phone leaving the field with the team. Okay, you're always promoting your players. So you're reaching out to every single team, making sure that they know about them. Okay, this year is totally different, everyone. Totally different. I have a kid that he's a center from Bowling Green that there's about 11 teams that are interested in him, but they all wanted to see him at the pro day, and the pro day's not going to happen. So what we did is we videotaped a mock pro day. The problem with the NFL will not, it's like buying a car. Unfortunately, the NFL does not buy a car online. Okay, they want to see it, they want to touch it, but unfortunately, you can't. So what we're going by this year, you're going by your film, you're going by the scouts' opinions and how they rank them. It's kind of like, Dave, it's like the old days. It's the old days of recruiting and old days about draft. They're basically going off of everything that they've seen and how well the scout knows. So you're going to find out a lot about scouts this year.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them they're not going to have pro days. So they're going to be going off of exactly how talented the scout is.
Okay, so that begs the question, at least for me, John, and I'm sure you have relationships with a bunch of different scouts, or all the scouts, maybe a lot of the gyms, maybe all the gyms, maybe, but there's got to be a trust factor at some point, especially now, where if you really felt you had a guy, and he's not getting the attention, and this draft is coming up, and somebody says to you, and you say to your trusted scout, GM, whatever, and they know it's you, and they're like, and you're like, listen, he's worth the shot. 4th round, he's worth the shot. I'm telling you. I mean, how far does that go?
It goes a long way, especially with, you look at our strength. My strength is I do find the diamonds in the rough. Okay, and so I do have relationships, and as I mentioned, I've been doing this for 15 years. The crazy part is, like a perfect example, Les Snead from the GM of the Rams, okay, is a buddy of mine that I met sitting in the stands at UMass watching. Well, I wasn't there watching Victor Cruz. I was there watching Jeremy Horn, but sitting there and talking with him, and that's how our relationship began. Went out for a couple beers. Now he's the GM of the Rams. Right. Can I pick up the phone and call him? Absolutely. They will listen to me. They will pick up. And nowadays, especially this time, what I'm going to be doing tonight is I'm going to be cutting up film on this of Jack. Okay, in order to present it to teams. Why? Because they want to see something. No, scouts have nothing to do right now besides watch film.
Yeah.
So only thing they can do is watch film. So the more that an agent can give a scout right now, the better chance his client has of getting recognized. The first round, second round guys, the guys who are at the combine, you know, they're pretty much all set. Okay, well, what I do with those guys, I just keep promoting the heck out of them, keep driving up their stock in order for them to get picked higher.
Yeah.
Obviously, the higher they get drafted, the more they get paid, and the more they get paid, the more we get paid. So it's all about supply and demand. So you David, to answer your in a long way, yes, it's all about relationships.
Yeah. Anybody else want to jump in? John, you told us.
Let me ask.
Go ahead.
Does anyone out there thinking about dabbling into the agency business?
I think we have. He can't see you, Ben. He's on the phone.
Hey, John, this is Ben. I got some interest in it, and I also have a question for you.
Shoot.
Obviously, we got a portion of an XFL season. What kind of factor are the guys who played in the XFL looking to use that as a way to exhibit their talent for the draft, or even to get signed undrafted? How much of a factor are they playing into it this year?
They play into. You see, a couple of them are getting signed. Okay, the league needs another developmental league. The NFL does. They try to with the AAF. Okay, matter of fact, I personally, it had to be 10 years ago, United Gridiron League. And me and a couple of guys put together a league. Okay. And had everything, had a draft, had players picked, we were playing in the Cotton Bowl, we were playing the lawn, we were playing at Massillon. We had 8 facilities, and then the funding went south. So to answer your question, Benny, it's needed. It's needed. The only problem is you can't get physicals. You can't work anybody out right now. Okay, so they're not going to. Unless they love them during the league, because you saw a couple guys got signed from the XFL already. Okay, they got signed a couple weeks ago. Why? Because they were able to go and get workouts and see the person kick the tires. Okay, so Ben, to answer your question, XFL is needed. It's needed, but nothing's going to happen for an XFL kid unless the team absolutely loves them, knows them, has touched and feel them, has seen them, maybe saw a video of him running or something like that this year. Because again, the NFL, they don't buy cars offline. They like to test drive them.
John, do you represent any XFL players?
I have one.
Okay.
I have one kid, Jonathan. He started in Houston, Massaquoi, and then he ended up at the DC team. So I have one kid. He's a defensive end. He's primarily like a rush. He's going to be a third down guy. Played well. Had a couple sacks, and we had him set for a couple of visits, but everything stopped.
Yeah. For a lot of people, or for all of us, really. So, Okay, I don't want to keep you too long. If I'm going to throw it out again for any questions, and then I'll wrap it up with John with a question or two, and get him to his computer. Guys,
Hey,
any thoughts?
this
Go
is
ahead.
Olivia.
Okay. You go ahead, Olivia.
Hello.
Go ahead, Olivia.
How are you?
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. So I just had one question in general, and especially now with this whole virus situation going on. How do you get your players to stand out amongst the rest, and how do you keep them on the forefront of the coaching staff's mind, especially when they have everything else going on and they're trying to scramble and figure stuff out? How do you kind of like push that envelope a little bit further to make sure that your guys are getting seen and are getting recognized? And as you said, you're not able to really have them go to the meet and greets and the tryouts and practices anymore. How do you keep that connection, and almost like a resume kind of, how do you make sure that your resume gets on the top of the file?
It's kind of like what I'm going to be doing with slicing up this film once I get back. Okay, you have to start. It's all about how creative you can be. I don't care what business you're in. It's how creative you can be. How do you gather somebody's attention? Okay, you have to be able to do what we're doing with the mock pro day. It's also don't take this the wrong way. It's stalking 101. You have to be able to have the relationships and be able to bring substance to the table when you talk. Okay, and I have over 15 years. People will listen to me. So it's a little bit, Olivia. It's a little bit of stalking and a little bit of you give me something that's good, and you give me a kid. I'd rather to have a kid that has more heart and determination and desire, okay, with above or average ability, okay, I will promote them because my kid's going to outwork any kid that's out there. And from an agent standpoint, what I say to my clients, no matter how hard you work, I'm going to work 10 times harder. So I'll be splicing and doing film tonight, and all that stuff will be on these guys' desks tomorrow morning. So you have to nowadays, you have to become more creative. You have to utilize technology and utilize your relationship skills more than anything this year. And you have to be a chameleon. You have to be able to adapt to the environment. Shoot, three weeks ago, I had, 8 trips planned flying all over the place for pro days. I canceled them all. Now I'm flying, now I'm driving around because you can't fly. People can't. I had to use one of my get out of jail free cards with one of my buddy who has a training facility that we shot the mock pro day today. Why? Because you go to any school right now, you try to jump over a fence to go do a workout. Next thing you know, you have people from athletic departments yelling at you. So you have to use your favor. So you have to be creative. So Olivia, it's creativity, it's desire, it's dedication. It's dedication and desire, not only on the player's part, but also on the agent's part.
Yep. Jeremiah, who else had a question?
Yeah, I had a question. Hi, John. Jeremiah here. My question. My question was, you sort of answered it a little bit, but what are you telling your clients at this time in terms of staying in shape, making sure that they're okay? If they do get that call and then they do get on a team, are they going to be ready for their OTAs and things like that?
Exactly. Here's the thing: the window for the what the NFL stands for, right? Everyone knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Not for long.
Not for long. Okay. So, in the NFL, they honestly, it's next man up. Okay. If you're not going to provide them what they're looking for, they're just going to go to the next man. So you have to be. And yes, Jeremiah, it's being prepared. You have to be ready for if a virus, a vaccine came out this week, and you better be ready to work out and perform for scouts. okay, for OTAs, whether they're going to be or whatever. Because what's going to happen? Everything's going to get pushed. But actually, I can't tell you what's going to happen because if I did, I'd be I'd be rich if I had the paper a month from now. Boy, I'd be a rich man. Right. But to your point, you have to be prepared for when it does happen, to be prepared to hit the ground running. Okay, give them every reason. Give them every reason to sign you. Give them no reasons not to. Right. So it's basically on them, and it's the one thing that is lacking nowadays is that mirror that you have in your house is the most important thing in your life. Okay, because you can lie to me, you can lie to Dave, you can't lie to that reflection in the mirror. Right. Okay, and you have to be able to when you put your, and this is what I say to my clients, when you put your head on the pillow, I go, everyone brushes their teeth, right? I hope. Okay. When you brush your teeth, this is exactly what I say to my clients. When you brush your teeth, you have to ask yourself 3 questions. Okay, did you better yourself in school? Did you better yourself in family and life? And did you better yourself in football? If the answer is no to any one of those questions, pick up a book or a tablet. I don't know what you all study on now. Well, it's obviously tablets and computers. Pick that up and do your work. Pick up the phone. Call your parents. Tell them that they love you. Because don't forget, your parents don't give a rat's patoot what you do for a living. Your parents just want you happy with whatever you're doing. Right. And number three, I'll show my age. Throw a Walkman on and go for a run. Throw an iPod on, whatever go for a run in the middle of the night. And do me a favor, call me in the middle of the night, okay, when you come back from that run, because that's when I know that my player is locked in. When he realizes that you have to better yourself every single day, no matter what you do in life. Okay, the only difference is my guys are starting at $500,000 out of college. Right. So preparing them and getting them ready, everyone wants the success, but no one really knows what goes into these guys. Yeah. But the scouts, but the scouts and the teams need to know that, because don't forget, everyone's familiar with, or maybe you're not, depth charts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they have depth charts. After the draft, they kind of have a depth chart already figured out. But the first 3 days that they're in for camp, okay, determines where they go on the depth chart. And the only way that they're going up that depth chart or down that depth chart is injury, or if you suck.
Yeah.
Okay? And most of these guys I don't think they suck. They're in the NFL. So you have to make that first impact. So being ready, being prepared for when this does take off is a big, big, big thing to do. So you're right. It's me providing them the mental stability for them to be prepared when this thing takes off. Have any of you ever been to like St. Martin's? Did any of your parents ever take you to St. Martin?
I've been there.
Yes.
Yeah, when the planes come into St. Martin, when they take over, back in the day, I think they stopped in 2016. They used to have a 747 that used to come in on Mondays and Fridays. Okay, and St. Martin, there's mountains when the planes take off. There's mountains that if they don't clear them, okay, obviously the plane crashes into the mountain. So what they do is they back up, and you could Google search this. It's all online. You could see it. Just do St. Martin airplane takeoff, okay? And the 747s will back up to the fence, and the pilot will gun it and have his foot on the brake at the same time. And people hang out in the fences, and they get blown all over the place. That's what my guys are doing right now. My clients, I hope they are are gunning it and being prepared for when the NFL and when the government and when the United States takes the foot off the brake, that they hit it running. Because if not, you're going to fall down that depth chart. Okay, it's 90 to start. They're only keeping so many this year. That's probably going to change too. You don't know. But my clients will be prepared and ready.
John,
good.
And I love the analogy, by the way. I love the analogies, and you're obviously passionate, and I think you have to be to do what you do. And a lot of what you're saying basically, reeks of character and a person's character, basically. And that's good advice I think you're giving to the students here as well. So, but I think I remember you telling a story a few years back about one of the guys you were recruiting, and he had 3 phones. You tell the story. I think you told him you don't want to.
You remember that, huh? Yeah. So I was recruiting this individual. And this individual came into the meeting. Okay, and first of all, he was late, and I apologize. I was a couple minutes late because I tried to get into a quiet area. So I'm a stickler for punctuality. Okay, and he was late. First of all, he was late, and that was a dead. He was like 15, 20 minutes late for the meeting. And he comes in, he lays 3 phones on the table. Okay, and Dave knows me. I'm what you see is what you get. Okay, I don't pull any punches. And I said, hey, nice to meet you. I go, hey, but I gotta ask. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask. What's the 3 phones for? He's like, well, this phone right here, this phone is for my boys. I'm like, really? Yeah. He was like, and this phone right here, this phone's for my family. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I go, what's that one? He goes, that one's for. Pardon my,
Say it.
this is for my bitches. And I went, oh, wow. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So we started going, I go, but I got a question for you. I go, if I represent you, okay, are you willing to buy a 4th phone? And he looks at me, he's like, why? You go, well, I'm not your boy, I'm not your family, and I'm definitely not your bitch. So you need a 4th phone.
I love that.
Needless to say, I did not. I didn't want to sign him anyways. He never made it into. He was a 5th round pick that actually got cut during camp.
Mm.
Why? Because he wasn't prepared.
Right. All right. I got one last chance. Any last questions for John?
All right, John. This is Ben again.
Hey, Ben.
When you're hiring people to work on the agency side for you, what kind of skill sets or things do you look into when you're looking to hire somebody?
We do hire interns, okay, and they're usually based out of our Boston office. My partner Nate handles the interns. I look for the same thing I look for in a player. I want someone that's going to be passionate about what they do. Okay, if you're looking to get into the sports industry, the reason to get into the sports industry isn't because I love football, basketball, or baseball. Okay, what people have to realize, this is a business. It's a cutthroat business. Okay, I look for people that are passionate about what they're doing, that are willing to help someone be successful, and to be able to put forth the effort. That, guess what? It's going to be rewarded probably on the back end, that no one will ever know that you helped an individual get drafted. Why? Because what happens at the draft is the draft part's easy. Okay, everything's all done. We just sit back and everyone sits back and watches what goes on. What we're doing, and everyone has their own war room in the NFL. What we do, we have our own war room. Okay, we have all of our players, all the teams that are interested in them, all the rosters that they have, and as picks are being made, we're narrowing down who is going to be the right fit. Because what happens after the draft, I've never seen Draft Day. I've never watched any of those movies before. Why? Because I live it. It's an absolute nightmare for the next 2.5 hours. It's a nightmare. So basically what you're doing is you are trying to find, number one, all that information that we have up on our wall and all the research that we've done, who's the best fit. My job as an agent is to make sure I place the kid on a team, not just to say I placed him on a team. Okay. My job is to place him on a team where he has an opportunity to make it. A lot of these agents just throw kids on teams, just say, hey, I got you on a team. Congratulations. What good is that if he doesn't have an opportunity to make the team? So we go through that process from the first pick down to the last pick. And what happens is teams start calling Friday night us, saying, hey, listen, I don't know if we're going to take a guy, like Jack Kramer, the kid from Bowling Green. I don't know if we're going to take a guy, but we're interested in him for free agency if he wants to sign a free agency. Okay. Well, guess what? Okay. Well, we make a note that we've talked to these people and we watch what they're doing on the draft board. A intern for us or someone that we're looking for, Ben, is doing research to find out, okay, how many guys do they have on their team? What years are they on their contracts? Why? Because you don't want, it's like being a college kid. You don't want to go to a team that has three centers that are, a sophomore, junior, and senior center, and you're only going to play 1 year. So it's all about placement and stuff like that. So what we look for is we look for someone that's willing to do the work, someone that's passionate about loving what they like to do, because it is very, very rewarding. Unfortunately, you don't hear a lot about what happens on the back end. So, Ben, we just look for those people that are willing to give a little effort, okay, learn the business, and be a sponge. That's what your job is in life. What you guys are doing right now and gals are doing with Dave is just be a sponge. Take a little bit from me, take a little bit from Lee. I know Lee's going to be talking to you. Was it next week?
2 weeks, John.
Dave? In 2 weeks. Lee's got one hell of a story. Okay, God bless him. I've met him, I've talked with him, and he's incredible. And the individuals that he was in your situation at one time. I was in your situation at one time. So Ben, what we look for is just someone that's willing to work for us, willing to learn, and someone that when we look in their eyes sees the passion that they want to succeed, and they'll do anything that they can to succeed.
All right, John, last thing, and we'll let you go. I don't think you have a law degree, although I'm sure you could probably, answer a lot of law questions. You probably have somebody who handles that for you, like we had Steve Olenek on last week. And he's got Saquon Barkley, he does a lot of stuff with them, but he also works with them on their foundations and things like that. So question is, how difficult is it? What do you have to do to get certified? And, you don't have to go on, but just give us a little thumbnail on that.
No, Dave, it's been 15 years since I've been certified. I know you have to go, just like anything in life, you have to pay. You have to pay to register into the NFLPA. Okay. Then you take a test. I believe the test is administered. I think it's mine was in November, but you have to be certified. You have to pass a test, and the test if they wanted no one to pass the test, they could make it so no one passed the test. Okay, but they like the $3,000 for their registration fee, and they like our annual fee, so they're going to let a lot of guys come in and gals come in. And so after you pass the test, congratulations, you're now part of the NFLPA. Now you have to get a player. In order to keep your agency license, you have to sign a player every 3 years. If you don't sign a player to an agent in 3 years, a contract, and he's on an active roster in 3 years, you lose your license. Okay? And just to give you an idea how many agents there are, I think there's over 900 agents. And the one stat that I always say that 75% of the NFL players are represented by 25% of the agents. There are agents out there that don't have a lot of clients. Okay, they might have one. You know, there's a lot of mothers and uncles that are in the agency business. Why? Because they just get in because they're going to represent their nephew or their son. So it's a market that's getting a little saturated. Okay, and unfortunately, a lot of players get affected. Why? Because this is a tough business to know. And the ins and outs with the new CBA that's out there now we're learning the new CBA. So being able to know that, being able to set up charity work. Yes, we do set up charity works. Being able to get the advertising dollars, being able to get basic sponsorships and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that's involved, and I hate when iPhone comes out with a new phone. Hate it, absolutely hate it. Because everybody wants it. Okay, when there's new technology out, I'm like, oh God, here we go again. Everyone wants it. So I love what I do. I'm passionate what I do. My 11 guy. I'm 52 years old. I don't have any kids. I treat my clients like they're my kids. Okay, and I was raised with tough love. And I'm honest with them. They know exactly where they stand every single night when they put their head on the pillow. And that's what you want out of whatever job role that you go in. You want to make sure that when you do brush your teeth at night, that you've done everything you possibly could in your life to better it. And that should be every single day, no matter what you do in life.
Good stuff.
I was blessed. It's my pleasure.
Listen,
my pleasure to speak with you all.
When you're, let me know when you're in the New York area. We'll grab a beer, maybe take a Met game in or something.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Easter, but I don't know if that's going to be. I don't know if they're going to let me travel. But listen, to ladies and gentlemen that are listening, I hope you found this informative, and be blessed. You and your families be safe at this time, and be successful no matter what you do. And just remember. You're at an age right now that if you don't like what you're doing, you could always change it. But make sure whatever you do it at 100%.
Amen, brother. Thank you, John.
My pleasure. Have yourself a great night.
Thank you, John. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, John.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, John.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, stay on for just a couple more minutes and we'll wrap this up. So, obviously, same thing. If you could do a recap, I think he gave a very interesting stat there. I want to see many people include that in their write-up for next week. All right, so just to repeat, so next week we may have another NFL agent, Art Weiss. I have to confirm with him. If so, I'll let you know. I'll send you an email with the information. If not, I'll send updates on what you guys will be working on. 16th, we do have scheduled Lee Steinberg. He is Jerry Maguire. You've seen the movie, you're reading his book, or you've read the book. So I'm hoping some good questions today, guys. Thank you. It's very helpful. I know it's a little bit different when you can't, we'll figure this stuff out because there's ways to raise your hand or react. There's chat room here, everything. So as we get more comfortable, maybe we'll all get good at it together. So, so next week I'll let you know. 16th definitely. That leaves really 2 classes because I don't think we need to meet on 5/7. I think what we'll do for May 7th, I think that's the last scheduled class, is that's when everything will be due. And let's talk about that for a minute. So that leaves the 23rd and the 30th, and we'll see if we can get. I want to get a baseball guy in because Steve was really kind of, even though Steve covers a lot of different things, he was more basketball guy. John's an NFL guy. We might have, if we have Art and Lee, that's going to be 2 more NFL guys. I want to get a baseball guy in maybe and cover all the bases there. So, but I do. I will reiterate. If you can watch The Scheme on HBO, and then if you want to let me know, you can watch it. And then if you feel you want to use that as an assignment or maybe it might be a double assignment, or depending on how I guess I could look at it, and then we can decide how many assignments it can be, 2, maybe 3. Maybe you want to use it for your final project. So speaking about your final project, that's going to be a choice for you of the overall content, all the stuff that's on Blackboard, all the links, the book, the speakers, kind of a recap of the class, 5 to 10 pages. I mean, you know me, I'm quality over, quantity. So I don't want to see 30 pages of bullshit. You can do a report on Lee Steinberg's book and wait to hear after him, after he speaks on the 16th. Or, you can present something on your own of what you'd like to do. And it can be in the form of a paper, a video, I don't care. Just something to show that we've taken the semester. We kind of understand what the agent's roles are. John does not have a law degree, by the way. And so Steve is a lawyer, but John, so John obviously is going to need somebody like Steve to handle his contracts and things like that. So I will put this all in writing. So don't worry. I'll send you an email within the next week and recap everything I just said. And then unfortunately, I didn't start recording this session until about halfway through because I forgot. So I apologize, but I do have about half of it. If anybody wants it, I'll send it to them. Any questions for me?
Can you just send the recording just so we can have it, and also have the information about the final project and everything that's due?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I can do that. I'm a reasonable guy.
So you don't want a recap on this?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I'd like something for next week. I'd like you to recap this. That's why I also,
Gotcha.
So you had last week, you have this week. Unless you watch the scheme, in the next few days, and you're like, you know what, I think I really want to delve into this. What happened there, and that will be, like I said, you could use it as a final project. If you could just say, Dave, instead of recapping pace and another, I'll just do this. So that'll be a conversation for us one-on-one.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Do you want the recap emailed to you, or do you want that on Blackboard? Does not matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
You can put it either place. So I'll have to check Blackboard again to see. I've looked at almost, I think, unless somebody's most recently, all the discussions. I think the discussions have gotten good. A lot of good stuff you guys have posted in there. Like I said, I haven't gotten through all the Steve Atlantic stuff, but most of that was good. You should be through the Lee book. Lee's going to be an interesting conversation because, like John said, he's an interesting guy, and he's done well. I mean, he was an alcoholic and he lost his business, and he had, in the 80s, he had all the top quarterbacks. He had Montana, he had all those guys, and he went belly up because of booze, and now has got Mahomes and a bunch of other guys. So kudos to him for doing that. Okay. Anybody? Bueller? All right, guys. You sorry?
You said the final project is 5 to 10 pages?
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's. I can't imagine. You can make it longer if you want. If you really feel the need. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't like 20 pages of fluff. I like 6-7 pages of facts.
Okay.
All right. So that's just me. I mean, I don't need a hark. I don't need the nice cover and all that stuff. Just email me the friggin' PowerPoint or Word doc, and we're good. Okay. I think everybody's tracking pretty well as far as I can see. Some people who have been behind have caught up, so I think we're all good. I'm sorry that it's come to this, that we're doing this we were online anyway, but I mean, I would have liked to have gotten some guys in front of you and at least gotten together. At least what I generally do, and I probably shouldn't say this for the last class, is I bring in pizza and beer. So we'll do it another time. All right.
Yeah, one question, Dave.
Go ahead, Ben.
When do summer session classes get posted for enrollment?
Well, I submitted my schedule. Excuse me. I don't know when they're gonna. The registrar is, I don't know, a different animal. Let's put it that way. So, but I can tell you that summer one will start right after Memorial Day. Right now, that's Mark Jeffers' media content, sport content class. We were gonna do a combination of things out of Stanford at NBC Studios and whatnot, and Chelsea, but it looks like that's gonna turn into an online scenario as well. So I have to find out if Mark is comfortable with that. If not, I might flip him to summer two, and then we'll have a class that runs over the 10 weeks, and then we'll have a summer two class. So hopefully we get that information out soon. I have the schedule. If anybody wants it, let me know. I'll just send it to you. I'll send you what I have. Send you the summer schedule, but you won't be able to register for it until the registrars got their act together. But don't worry about it. These classes generally don't fill up. I think we have some people here who are done anyway. So, and your graduation is unfortunately not going to happen, well, at least physically. So I apologize for that too. I feel bad for you. Anybody else? Everybody healthy? Everybody all right? Anybody? I mean, I personally, I know two people. One person, a former professor at Manhattanville by the name of John Murray. He was an older guy, but a good man. He died last week or this past week. A basketball player from Iona that I knew pretty well, Jonathan Duck. You may have read the story. They had a birthday party in Scarsdale, St. John's. Three guys have died from that. Jonathan, a St. John's guy, and another guy. So it's bad shit. Listen, and it's sad. So you got to take it. You got to take it seriously. Not that you're not, but just be careful.
Buddy of mine from the Army who's Germany got it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's scary. All right, peeps. I will shut this down, and like I said, call, email with any questions. If you need I'm obviously not in the office, but if you need my cell phone, it's 203-858-9230. But I get your emails on my phone anyway, so I'll try to react to that as quickly as I can. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thanks.